Well, I mean, it feels like we're maybe just where Christmas is sort of lying day-wise in the working week. It's kind of last night's football match in the old EFL Cup that overflowed with
the Carabao.
weirdness. The Carabao. Tottenham 4, Man United 3. It's just a little bit too much for Christmas. I think it's just, it's like you're eating turkey sandwiches before Christmas dinner. I'm not having it. It was bonkers. I watched it.
It was bonkers.
Like, sorry, what was that all about?
You know what?
I had other things to do.
It did feel like opening a present early.
Yeah.
Oh, this is indulgent.
It was
You're
a
right.
ding dong. It was a Christmas ding dong. It was
brilliant.
Fraser Forster was essentially performing some kind of avant-garde theatre.
It was very, maybe, I just sort of think with him, both times, he makes a wonderful save before the first mistake, and he probably could have rescued the first mistake if he hadn't been so annoyed that the attending defender hadn't sort of taken the impetus to run towards him and sort of, I kind of get that. But for the second, he was exactly the same. He was just a bit like static. He didn't seem that interested in remembering that you can actually use your foot to sort of slide tackle people. I don't know.
Can we not as well let those two goals, obscure the fact that he also should massively have done better on the third one as well?
He's relaxed about that one because no one's going to notice, but you have noticed, Jim.
Yeah, you have noticed. Yeah.
Forster, look at the look on Forster's face when he suddenly realised that Amad Diallo is really fast.
Yeah.
He's like, I realise it, but I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do now. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, it's impossible not to feel sorry for him in that moment, isn't it? He just looks absolutely
I mean, his speed was wonderful. It was like, I'm going to turn these afterburners on, and he's on me.
Yeah. It was like you planning in goal for your team.
Oh, that's a bit rude, isn't it?
It was, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, pretty much. But I would say but I think just this. I think the positioning of the body as well made it actually quite difficult for him to do anything apart from pick it out of his own net.
Because his body is very big as well.
His body is very
There's an element
big.
of it where he's got to try and unroll, unfurl everything that's happening.
There's all kinds of turning circles going on.
Yeah, the levers that are involved
Yeah.
to do something quickly are a lot tougher than for someone like Diallo, who's quick and smaller.
Yeah, and it almost makes Altay Bayindir the 6'6" goalkeeper for Manchester United.
Is he really 6'6"?
6'6". He used to be a striker, and
He's 3 centimetres shorter than Fraser Forster.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Two big men.
Do you think that that should have been reset under VAR rules?
I think it would have been, yeah. I think, he's holding his arm. If someone goes to kick a ball away, but you grab their leg, it's probably not allowed. And is it that different?
I found myself cleansed by watching the Carabao Cup with no VAR.
North London's done really well out of that.
It was very nice.
Yeah, they have.
So, I mean, like, it was obviously Spurs went 3-0 up, and it was kind of looking very, very safe for them. But a couple of goalkeeping mistakes, and Man United were back into it as well. But I think the pivotal chance was Son on the 88th minute, whipping in a corner, and the goalkeeper just kind of had his arm held.
Did he though?
Yeah,
by a child.
It's the arm he wasn't going to use, wasn't it? Which is the
I'll tell you
compensation.
what,
Yeah,
as a father of one, if I couldn't do anything every time my arm was brushed by a child, I would get nothing done. So I'm not accepting that from the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
A child has come up and just gone like that, little rub.
Was there a goal last season where something similar happened to Edison and it was disallowed?
I'm sure.
Goalkeepers are very protected on that stuff, aren't they? Which is why I think it would have been disallowed.
They are generally. But
I like having different rules. We said yesterday, like, there should be more kind of experimentation in the rules of the EFL Cup because nobody cares about it.
Well, I don't know. There's 4 really good games. They want that 100 grand.
If it was sponsored by Monster, Pete, you'd be up here early.
I'd be right up there.
Can I put forward perhaps a Matt Letitia tinfoil hat theory about why we're seeing the games being refereed in this way? Put like a sound effect in there.
Yeah.
To make the Premier League look better.
It's because referees subconsciously are used to having things sorted by VAR.
Right,
so
yes.
they're much more likely to let things go. Even if they tell themselves there's no VAR.
Yeah.
They've obviously got used to refereeing in a certain way. So they're much more like, we saw it with the Southampton player. I think it was Cameron Archer being brought down, wasn't given as a foul. It was Liverpool crazy. This one you guys are talking about, even the assistant referee, perhaps when Jesus was, let's be honest, quite a long way offside, not given.
Yeah.
It's a subconscious thing, I reckon.
Yeah, and do you think that we will see an adjustment of that next season? Because it has been a great round of fixtures, but I imagine the referees lot are probably a bit furious about it.
It's happening. You guys are right to say. I'm extrapolating here, but you've alluded to the idea that the EFL Cup is probably the next head on the chopping block, isn't it, for the fixture congestion? So they're going down fighting, boy. They are saying...
They are making it fun.
It's prison rules.
Yeah.
Score as many goals as you can, and then people will remember us fondly. Yeah. That's what they're saying. I also think it's remarkable how many average players Manchester United will put out on the pitch. It's incredible.
Yeah, the defending was playground stuff at times.
That sort of was it Martinez? I think a little tepid sort of side foot clearance for.
He's such a funny one, Martinez, because he can be a really, really good player, but then he has moments like that, and it's hard to figure him out.
I think if he goes to Spain and plays for a decent Spanish team, he'd be the best defender in the league.
Right,
it just looks like in the Premier League, it's just all wrong. Like if you look at the 11 players that started the game for Man United last night, I mean, going through them one by, it's a combination of like players who are completely past it, aren't good enough, or who might be good in the future. We just don't know yet. So like Bayern, haven't really seen enough of him. A
lot of Man United fans have said, not just for this match, but where they have seen him, they're not necessarily impressed by.
Lenny Euro, probably too early to say, massive prospect.
But the problem with that as well is it's not a great environment for a prospect like that.
Totally. I mean, they're in the wrong environment anyway.
Right?
Lindelof, not that good. Martinez, talked about him. Mazraoui could be good. Ericsson, way past it. Ugarte, not really sure. Dallow's been quite good. Fernandes is obviously a good player. Anthony's one of the worst players I've ever seen. And Højlund might be good at some point.
It kind of really exposed every sort of facet of Manchester United's failing over the last few years. Like Solanke's opener, defenders just weren't on their toes. The second, Martinez just been a bit...
You mean the clearance? The clearance was really like a tepid clearance.
Really tepid little clearance. And then for the third, like the offside is just beaten and well beaten. And they just didn't have the pace to get back. It was a lot to think about for Ruben, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also so confident that if Son doesn't score from that corner, Man United don't score a third goal.
Right.
I mean, it had that feeling to it, didn't it?
Yeah,
Because I think Spurs kind of switched off themselves a bit and were very, very sloppy. And I think obviously one with the goalkeeper kind of led to the rest of the team on that corner. But there's so much for Amorim to do. He spends so much time on his haunches, looking like he absolutely hates Man United, which, as we've said before, I think will for a time will make him quite relatable to the fans. He's fed up with it as well already. Like it is.
Yeah, he's like the guy in the canteen in our building.
Yeah, genuinely,
United, but hates them.
Absolutely hates them. Yeah. So there was a point where Gary Neville said Ruben Amorim drops to his knees again. It's like again, he's had like 5 games.
Tell him when he's not on his knees.
Much time on his knees in despair.
Also, it's the League Cup. the other thing, when you know you're really through the looking glass with Man United and they're just not getting out of this anytime soon, it's like Johnny Evans comes on, 36 years old, plays quite well, scores.
Good header,
what reality is this?
Yeah, it was a good header.
Incredible.
Yeah, well, elsewhere, Jim Ratcliffe has increased his stake in Manchester United by 1.2%, paying around 79 million. Cheap at half the price for such a global brand.
He saved that on scrapping steward bonuses.
Yeah.
So he might as well invest it in the club.
Yeah, well, he scrapped £100 attendance bonuses for regular stewards and £50 steward of the week bonuses, which I think is lovely stuff. Ange Postecoglou has said that a Premier League manager has a tougher job than the Prime Minister, and said that however many times Keir Starmer has an election, I get one every weekend. We've got an election every weekend, and I either get voted in or out. I don't think that's true. It's just it's an approval rating, Ange, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more of a poll, isn't it?
It's more of a
very vocal poll.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he's correct. Possibly apart from in the case of Ruben Amorim at the moment.
Yeah, but it's big news for Ange, because last night, getting through this game, he was very, very vocal and typically forthright in the most Australian way imaginable when he corrected that journalist who said that they usually win. He usually wins things in his second season. He said, "No, I always win things in my second season."
Oh, he's going for it then.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Ange, this is the only competition you've got a single chance of winning.
But I think that's really smart, because I think that confidence is going to translate to the players, right? It feels like a challenge to them, but also an encouragement to them.
Fraser Forster as well, do you think? Translate to him?
Fraser Forster might need to
confident
get it into his head a little bit.
I don't think anyone's going to be passing back to him.
If we did one of those like word soup infographics that you see online for Fraser Forster, how big do you reckon the word confidence would be in that after last night?
I think it would sneak in prefixed with lack of.
Yeah, fine.
It would make its way in.
Loophole. So I think,
Liverpool at the weekend.
I know exactly.
I wonder if they've noticed that.
Good God.
It was a really, really wild game. It was great entertainment. It's a lovely way of bringing in the festive season, Peter.
If you're gonna sum up the performance on Ruben Amorim's side of things in one noise, what noise would you make?
Oh,
An Ange?
yeah.
You've chosen a word, but it somehow still counts as a noise.
It's just an Australian noise.
Yeah.
If I had my time again, I'd probably change it to, yeah.
Yeah. But he should be celebrating, but he must be quite annoyed about how it had all. Game management is all about not doing that.
Oh, he looked properly disapproving. The word to use is disapproving when Forster was doing his bit.
Yeah.
But on the Amorim side, the analogy I would use actually would be that Ruben Amorim is clearly. Say for example, he's great at putting up a tent. Like he's brilliant at putting up tents. You give him a tent, whether it's a 10-man tent, a 1-man tent, he doesn't need the instructions. He'll put up the tent. It'll be brilliant, and it won't let any fucking water in, and everyone will have a lovely time camping in the tent. However, there's a permanent hurricane. So every time he tries to do something. It'll go to shit.
I was thinking just a herd of Harry Maguire elephants. They're just constantly trying to trample
I think Harry's done okay
All right,
in the early
fine.
stages. But my point is just that you can't have a go at someone for not being able to put up a tent when there's a hurricane.
Yeah.
It's not the right time to be putting up a tent.
What was the New
Man
York
United's
Mets
really more of a
analogy
marquee.
used on the WhatsApp yesterday?
Well, it was the New York Jets who are disastrously bad and have been for some time.
Right.
Who keep changing their coaches, keep changing their players around, flip-flopping around on different bits. And the point was that the owner, Woody Johnson, is the problem. And the unnamed source from the club who works at the club said, we can change the players all we want. It's not going to make any difference. If someone diagnoses you with a brain tumour, there's no point amputating a foot.
Right.
It's not going to make it any easier.
That's a nice analogy. I like it.
Yeah, it is. And I think that given the fact that the Man United seem to be taking their cost-saving measures so far that they can't even hire a decent PR firm, it doesn't bode well. It does not bode well at all. It's not going to translate onto the pitch. They've got some good young players, but the rest of them need to be shipped out quickly. And obviously the transfer window makes that tough, but they've got to do that at some point. There's going to be a huge turnover of players and they've got to backhammer him and give him a bit of time. But in the meantime, like I say, it's a hurricane. And do you know what? It's not even a hurricane of rain, it's a hurricane of piss.
We need a totemic kind of player to absorb all of the chaos rather than having it spread right throughout the squad. Paul Pogba is looking for a new club when his ban from football potentially ends in March. Apparently an escort website in Brazil has offered Corinthians £515,000 a month to cover the costs of signing Paul Pogba. The director of the company said, we'd like to express our interest in actively contributing to make this operation possible, which certainly represents a unique opportunity for everyone involved. They do sponsor Vitória in the Brazilian top flight, and it's all rather distasteful.
It's a staggering amount of money.
They must be doing really
Isn't
well.
it? Yeah. Hey, oldest job in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, their business fundamentals must be very sound.
Oh yeah,
to be dishing out $500,000 a month
for
just
Paul Pogba,
just for Paul Pogba to play for Corinthians.
Hey, we'll change him fucking himself. Tottenham play Liverpool on Sunday. Spurs will also play Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final, while Arsenal play Newcastle. It's a big weekend and it's a big future for the EFL Cup, I tell you.
I think. Do you know what? You and I, Pete, we waxed lyrical. Well, I did, and you kind of nodded along about how great it would be if Newcastle were to win the Carabao.
I think playing Arsenal's probably, if you were going to choose Spurs, chaotic, never know what you're going to get. Liverpool,
good,
top of the league. Arsenal, Newcastle have had their number in recent seasons.
Especially given it complicates it as a two-legged game, doesn't it? Because it's
not been
it's been one where the home team has won regularly recently. So it's essentially that could make for a really good game, because I think it's going to be the home team's going hell for leather in those fixtures.
But I just feel like, because I said, I don't know if you heard it, but I said on Wednesday night with Pete that I think that I don't know when the games actually are, but if they're around, which they probably will be, a really congested part of the season for Arsenal, the EFL Cup's not going to be their priority.
Yeah.
No.
And I thought the same for Liverpool, of course.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I have confidence that Newcastle can do it, and then for some reason, as soon as the draw happens, I think, nah, I'm not going to do it.
I don't know. I think so. Obviously, as Pete said, last couple of seasons has been 1-0 at St James's Park, isn't it? And also a few seasons ago there was a really attritional 0-0.
Yeah.
So
Is that when Newcastle were time wasting?
yeah. So it might.
I've been a nasty boy.
Were you at the game?
Yeah.
You time wasting as well.
They've got that approach there, and it's frustrated Arsenal before, and it's worked. And obviously they've got good players as well, so it's going to be a really interesting battle.
Can I also just put one more bone into the conversational broth and say that Newcastle played a really strong team on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Arsenal probably won't play a strong
I don't know
team.
about that. I think the way that he's been talking about the Carabao, I think he's starting to care about it.
Care about it.
Because obviously they need silverware. You know, it's just one trophy in 5 years from there. So he's been talking about the galvanising effect of winning something. So I suspect that he will actually play a strong team. But we'll see, won't we?
But not if he's got a key Champions League game or a key league game.
Yeah, I mean...
Who knows?
Who knows?
Don't know.
The future is insert some phrase about the future. Yes, production company A24 are set to produce a drama series about Liverpool under Bill Shankly in the 1960s.
Bill
Shankly. How am I doing, boss?
Shankly.
Terrible at pronunciation, turns out. I would say that this company are famous for some of the best kind of Oscar-bothering kind of films, but A24 can't be getting involved in football. We've got an A22 who are getting involved with the Super League.
Yeah,
It's
we
very
hate them, though.
confusing. We hate them.
Yeah.
We like A24. Are they going to do a good job? Is it going to be a tearjerker? Are they going to get the rights for Ferry Across the Mersey and other Anfield classics?
There's some good people involved.
It's also, it's been made with Box to Box.
Bill Shankly.
Who made Drive to Survive. It's about the great Bill Shankly.
Shankly.
Jack Thorne is on board as a writer. He's done a lot of
He did
very
Harry Potter and the
successful
Cursed Child, which is excellent. I'm going to be honest with you guys and say that I don't really like historical dramatisations
Of sport.
I like just generally. I prefer the give me a doc.
Give me a right.
I want the real
World at
shit.
War.
Right.
I want the real shit. Oh yeah, I want Larry Olivier, The World at War.
Is it because I forced one COVID season for you to watch United Passions?
Yeah,
With Gerard Depardieu.
you've affected
Tim
my
Roth.
taste in culture quite a lot during that COVID period in many different ways, Peter.
You did that to all of us.
Yeah. So
In many ways, I
still
took
not over
away.
Soccer Dog.
I took away my own taste in many ways.
I really like that drama. I haven't said that. I really like that drama about the Munich air disaster where Matt Busby was played by Dougray Scott.
Right.
I thought that was really good. So there are exceptions. Obviously.
Is this kind of generation of football teams so far in the past that not many people alive will have, not many people alive, but some people obviously alive will have seen it. But I think it's not going to be us watching 1990s Premier League and sort of going, it didn't look like that. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of everything's black and white.
Yeah,
and
because
stuff.
the 1990 stuff, to take that kind of example to its conclusion, like for us sitting here now, if production company A24 were producing a drama series about the Premier League in the 90s,
Classic Barclays, they'd call it.
Yeah, there's no actor alive that could feasibly for us play Alan Shearer or Les
David
Beckham.
Beckham.
It would just be
Or Adrian Paz.
It would be ridiculous. I think that would be okay. I'm not quite sure what role he would play, but
Tim Sherwood.
yeah,
Neil Shipley.
yeah, no one's playing those people.
Yeah.
So with the 60s, I guess it's so far removed, you can actually probably get away with it. I'm sure it'll be good. I'm sure it'll be
fine.
fantastic.
It'll be passable. Speaking of films and Christmas films specifically, we weren't. The festive football season is truly upon us. Loads of Premier League players are currently one booking away from not playing on Boxing Day, which is very exciting. This happens every year. Jim, on the WhatsApp, you mentioned that this makes you feel more Christmassy than 1,000 presents.
It does actually.
Yeah.
It really
does.
the sheer volume of it as well. Because I am very confident that players do this deliberately. There are 39 players on bookings this year.
Yeah.
Should we have a little punt?
Yeah, how many it's going to be?
I think it's going to be as high as 12. Because I think there are players in relegation battles who probably won't do that. You would hope anyway. There are some players where it'll be genuine coincidence.
Yeah. Gabriel Jesus is on for this, but he's also in a bit of seam of form.
How is he on there? He never plays. How has he done that?
I imagine Christmas is very important to him in particular.
It's his birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I reckon 12 players. I think some it will be by accident, some it will be very deliberate.
So my feeling is that if I was a manager and I suspected, as Jim suspects,
right,
that I wouldn't besmirch the good name of top-level footballers by saying the things Jim said.
Right.
But
So a friend of mine is an agent and said it definitely happened. So I'm going on that intel.
if I was the manager, I would say to the lads, if you do get booked, Don't think you're missing Christmas. You're missing the Christmas game. You're coming anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you report in, you're coming
You got to
anyway.
watch it, yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe I would say depends on the booking.
Yeah,
If it was a really important pullback of an opposition player with 5 minutes to go and we're 1-0 up, I'll let you have it.
What would be great is if there's a situation where like 3 or 4 players are in the position to do that and they all go for it.
Yeah. But if you repeatedly foul throw on purpose,
Looking at you, Gabriel Jesus. Arsenal heritage, that.
I'll push Alan Rickman off a skyscraper.
I'd love it if Gabriel Jesus were all when he was on the bench. 'Cause you can bring on the bench.
Just flicking the V.
doing it there,
Fuck
yeah.
off.
So I reckon it could be. Jim, I reckon. I actually was going to say higher than 12. I'm going to go 15.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
15.
Yeah, I think 15 as well. Can we go for a joint bid for 15?
If you want to, yeah.
All right,
we'll
lovely.
probably forget about
Shake
this for
on
the
that?
next show, won't we?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You got soft hands.
Let us know as well.
Why do you-
Get in touch.
He's
Let us know what your
He's doing the weird hand thing.
let us know what your number is and show you're working.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Lovely.
exactly.
All right. Well, coming up after this, Everton have got a new owner.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, jeez, peeps, man.
Never gets old. Never, ever gets old.
Good lord.
Love that. Chelsea 5, Shamrock Rovers 1 in the Conference League. Guys, what are we doing here? What's the actual point?
I know.
I mean, Shamrock had their moment, they got their goal, and inexplicably they're still in the competition. What is happening? I mean, the Shamrock Rovers are through to the knockout rounds via a qualifier as I punch the desk with anger. Cucurella scored a goal in this match on the 50th minute.
My most hated player in the
to
Premier League.
wrap
Really?
things up.
I love him.
And he
Why?
Because he's the chaos muppet. It's just always fun. There's always stuff going on.
He did
I
a
just
little...
think he'd be an absolute dick.
Oh, of course, but you know
Yeah.
we don't have to hang out with him or play against him, do you?
Was it because he's not a very good
entertaining.
singer? Is that because you're a good singer? Is
No,
it
it's
kind of
not.
one
It's not.
artist besmirches
Do you
the
know
good
what?
another?
On that, you're talking about the song about him after the winning of the Euros.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, the reason it was terrible, and I'll tell you why, it's nothing to do with his ability to sing or not.
Right.
I've got no beef with that whatsoever. I'm a big encourager of Marcus singing, and he's not a great singer. It's because he didn't commit to it. It's like
Yeah.
it's almost it was like the song equivalent of like when you're cycling through town, not signalling properly, just putting your finger out. Just fucking embrace it.
Yeah.
Do it. If you're gonna do it, mate. If all your teammates have stood up after a Euros final win and said, "There's a song about Mark Cucurella, I'd like you to sing it," and he's up there just fucking phoning it in, it's not acceptable. Commit.
Yeah.
Commit or fuck off.
He did do a little knee slide after his goal, and we know you can slip about the gaff, mate. We've seen you do it so many times.
We
this season.
missed the fact that was a new boot launch.
I know. Yeah,
when he
so
did that.
it's Puma, wasn't it? So he's
Yeah.
got his boot. He's got his new boots, and Puma probably spent millions of pounds launching a new boot. Give it to Mark Cucurella, and he's managed to just chin off points on the share price. It's amazing.
I think Puma themselves did do some quite interesting, funny marketing stuff afterwards.
Right.
Taking the piss out of themselves.
Did they? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
setting fire to them and stuff.
For me, I don't think they did that, no.
Okay.
Why do you always go to setting fire to stuff straight away?
That's just my default setting. Fire.
Yeah.
It's man's greatest four.
That's great as foe.
Foe.
Man's greatest four.
Pete Donaldson, he lights up a room.
Yeah. My big
He's an
takeaway from the
arsonist.
Chelsea 5 Shamrock Rovers 1 game was that the equaliser for Shamrock Rovers, they had about 7 or 8 minutes where they were on level terms at 1-1.
They had a couple of chances.
Was scored by Marcus Poom, who is the son of Mart Poom.
Oh, I like that very
who
much.
That is
actually
great.
played for Portsmouth briefly.
And Arsenal.
And he played for Arsenal as well. Exactly.
Not sure he actually
And-
made an appearance.
And
but-
he's given his son a more English name so that people who
No, it's
call
Marcus with a K. Which
yeah,
instantly
but-
makes it more Estonian.
But it's easier to say because people would always call him Mark Poom, didn't they? Back in the day.
Not me, mate.
Not you. Not you. As a
Not on my
stud
watch.
hobby
Look,
boy.
this is an extended showbiz training tour for Chelsea.
Yeah, 6 out of 6 wins in the Europa League group stage. I mean, this was very much a third string side, but so I don't know why Cucurella is sort of celebrating. But
There was a point in the summer where there were reports that they couldn't afford to enter it.
oh,
They are just swanning through it.
Well, Mark Guiu, he it smashed himself into the post as hard as I've ever seen a player hit the post after he scored, and he just styled it out. Because toilets are where we cry, people.
He is
like a proper teenager. Didn't do anything, didn't know.
He is a properly exciting young player.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
And he looks cool as well. So I mean, the fact that he can style out absolutely garroting himself on a post is a great bonus.
It was a real Paul actor. It was a real, I'm just going to stay down. But he was up and about and celebrating. Chelsea are off to Everton on Sunday. The Freaking Group has completed its takeover of Everton. The Premier League approved the deal that had been signed back in September. It's over $400 million worth of takeover. And it means that Farhad Moshiri is finally out. I mean, the era of untested strikers and creaky midfielders is over, Jim, potentially.
I mean, it's certainly good news in the short term, isn't it? We've heard a lot of doubts about the Freaking Group's ability to bring sort of true success, but compared to what's just come before, when you look back at the Moshiri era, there's been obviously a lot written about everything that's happened there. He's put like £450 million of his own money into it, and the reports are that he'll walk away with as little as 25 million, which shows you the sort of the level of just kind of wasted money there. It's astonishing that they stayed up, really, in all that time, especially given points deductions and things like that.
I think it's a long period of time and they're a well-supported club. Like, I mean, that 400 million over that amount of time. Like, football is a good place to park your money if you're going to. But maybe you're bad at it. Maybe
clearly.
Surely it depends, though. I mean, is it a good place to park your money? It depends what you're kind of after.
It depends on what products you're supposed to invest in, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know that it is a good place to park your money. I think it's a very, very easy way to lose money. If you look at what's happened here, it's very, very difficult to essentially buy success, which is the attempt of essentially every transfer, isn't it? And it can be an absolute money pit. It can be a complete black hole. And in the case of Everton, it's because they're competing with people with far greater resources. So, I mean, I think Everton fans will be certainly happy about this in the short term because they've had so much chaos for such a long time. The points deductions in particular must have been so infuriating because not only are we bad on the pitch, we're bad off of it, and that's going to make things even harder. So hopefully for their sake, just as they move into a new stadium, this will be a little bit of stability. 7
full-time managers across 9 years in charge, and some pricey little names in there as well.
Yeah.
You would suggest
Rafa Benitez in there as well. I almost forget that happened.
There's something about football, isn't it, that makes a lot of powerful, wealthy, successful people just almost lose their minds.
Definitely.
Like in a
behave like they don't understand money almost. That's how it looks from the outside anyway.
Because the list of decisions that Moshiri has made, not just with the thing you're talking about with the turnover of managers or whatever, but he tried to sell to 777 partners who clearly very problematic to say the least.
Yeah.
Now that might well be because he just wanted to get out as quick as he could and he didn't care.
Yeah.
But his judgment just seems to be so poor to the point where you think it's like the whole Mike Ashley thing. Mike Ashley's incredibly successful. And as far as I understand it, has gone on to carry on being successful after Newcastle. But when he gets to Newcastle, he just gets it so wrong so often, and I understand there's different reasons.
He got it wrong on the pitch, though, but it was a useful kind of project for him, wasn't it? And just
I don't know. I'm not talking
direct stadium.
I'm talking about the decisions he makes. They don't seem to be able to do right for doing wrong.
Yeah,
because it's almost like they don't understand that football is a completely different kind of set of parameters to the business world they're used to. And in many ways,
it's the Wild West. And
it is the Wild West.
Ashley said that. He said it's still the Wild West and it's still just like no other business on earth.
Yeah.
The way it's operated. I mean, Freaking had their fingers burned at Roma. They sort of came in and tried to sort of, turn over tables and stuff. But like they're apparently this time going to be a bit more softly. Not fiery dicey kind of immediately.
They fired Daniele De Rossi, didn't they? Which is very, very unpopular. So you would hope that they'd learn from that.
That said, they do have Chelsea, Man City, Forest as their next 3 games. It's not particularly ideal. But I would say that this is a time to consolidate for Dan Friedkin, the owner of the whole setup. He flies old military aircraft, so he could do his own banner work.
Of course. He was in Dunkirk.
He was. We talked about this before when he first got linked. He's a very avid military plane collector.
Yeah,
and a pilot himself. Yeah.
He's obviously he's got an exec credit on Parasite as well, so he'll probably live in the stadium in the basement.
Nice
together.
Good throwback to a Korean Oscar winner.
And he's all about conservation, so Nigel Martin will be back in goal. So good stuff. Everton have got weather warnings to contend with yet again this weekend. So it's becoming a little bit like The Last of Us there, I think, a little bit. I can imagine this stadium's just going to be absolutely deserted.
So in that analogy then, Sean Dyche is what, the adult? And who's the girl that's running around with him?
Oh, I don't know.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Because he wore that skirt that time. Unbelievable. All right, well, Man City travel to Aston Villa on Saturday lunchtime. Are City waiting for the kind of levy to break on results and points? What is going... Like, they've got a lot of injuries, but they should have enough to sort of
Can
deal
I just
with
say,
some of these fixtures.
I'm looking forward to Man City games more and more every week.
I was on the same page as you, though. Never discount them, but that is getting a thin. And I'd like people to remember that you said that and I said that.
But I changed my mind.
I changed my mind week to week.
I said on Monday, but I agree with Marcus now. After seeing them more closely, to be fair, when this all started happening, I was away. I didn't see them as closely as well. But going to Aston Villa is the problem. Is it starts to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because every team they play against now goes, we've got a chance.
Yeah.
We've got a chance.
Yeah.
And you say they've got injuries. They've got injuries to some players, key players. Rodri's obviously the big one, but
the older ones are fit as a fiddle, though.
Yeah, there's a massive form issue as well with individuals that's contributing.
I just don't think they've got as many injuries as anyone else. Like they've got Rodri out, Oscar Bob's out, Ake and Manuel Akanji are out, and Kanji's been important for them. I understand that, but I don't think that's. That's. I mean, that is the smallest of tiny fig leaves. That's not even covering one of the nuts, let alone the cock and the other ball.
Right,
and Villa.
As a fig leaf,
good time for Christmas boxers.
Yeah.
Villa. We mentioned recently, Villa have kind of struggled a little bit after European games, but they'll be well rested ahead of this, and they need to kind of course correct a little bit as well, because they lost to Forest in the last game. So this is another tricky one for City, which you never used to say, did you?
Yeah,
no, you didn't used to say that, and the whole thing is becoming exponentially more difficult for them the more it continues. The pressure just piles up, and it's partly because they've been so good, right? And that's why the pressure comes along, because people notice when they do stuff they don't normally do, which is never win.
Before we get to the break, looking at Erling Haaland, bit of a falling out reportedly between him and Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola obsessed with systems. Erling Haaland quite an instinctive striker.
Yeah.
Where do you think this is going to go?
I think that the manager will win out.
Yeah, okay.
Apart from I actually think that it's surprising that we've not seen more people breaking ranks after the terrible form they've been in. And Haaland does seem like an emotionally led character.
Yeah.
And Guardiola definitely is. So I'd love it to explode in public.
Yeah.
I'd make that quite clear. Erling Haaland is like a kind of very, very talented but simple guy.
Right, yeah.
And I think it might be outmanoeuvred by Pep's mind games.
Yeah, well, he's not going to leave in the January transfer window, is he? So we'll have a bit more clarity on Guardiola's
Barcelona
future
have got the money to pay for it.
It's interesting that Barcelona are the ones linked, isn't it? It makes you think that it's essentially it's all hot air.
Maybe both of them could go at the same time.
It's absolutely. I mean, as far as I understand it, and we'll defer to our OTC cousins, but it's just fucking impossible. Yeah. They can't even register Danny Olmo for the second.
Who already plays for them?
Yeah, so there's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, coming up after this, Jamie Vardy continues to find new ways to be a bit of a nuisance. Leicester Wolves Sunday at 2 p.m. A massive one down the bottom of the table. Leicester, they're 17th, 5 points ahead of Wolves in 19th. Wolves this season, man, you just always think they're going to sort of climb out of it and put some runs together, but they've just not managed it thus far, have they?
No, but they've got an absolute madman at the helm now.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
It couldn't be better.
It's
couldn't be better.
This is less vintage Barclays. What little Christmas present for all of us.
Let's remember, we were staring down the barrel of Moyes. The most we were going to get was some barely disguised sexist abuse.
No, I don't think Moyes was ever going to go there.
And now we've got this fella.
It's brilliant.
I mean, we've sort of seen all of the clips of him doing his work in... It was Saudi Arabia, wasn't it?
Yeah, Saudi Arabia, where a man kept trying to tell him to talk about something other than what he wanted to talk about. And he kept saying... Fuck off, basically. I want to talk about whatever I want to talk about.
And then he tried to leave, and then he remembered who was in charge, and then he was like, I've probably got to sit here for a bit, haven't I?
I'm a big fan of managers saying to themselves in press conferences, I can answer the questions, but this is also really my time, and I can stay as long as I want. I can answer the questions in a way which means I can just air quite a lot of grievances.
Yeah. Well, he's obviously an interesting character, and he seems to have that kind of Pep Guardiola work obsession, which means not that he sort of bides his time and chooses jobs correctly. He will just panic and go, I've been out of work for 3 days, I need a football job, and jump into any old muck that's going around.
And now I'm everyone's problem, essentially. actually.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
There was it a South American press conference as well, where a journalist asked him if he was worried about getting sacked, and he said something like, "Do you know how much money I've got, mate?
Yeah, I'm
never worry
minted.
about that.
I'll be
you
absolutely
idiot."
fine. Yeah,
He's going to be fantastic.
Has he got
However
good
it
English?
works out.
Has he got good English?
I believe he does actually. Yeah,
he didn't back in the day, and I think that's sort of what cost him the
Right.
the first Everton pitch. I
but he's
think.
gutted about
but
that.
he's absolutely gutted about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were probably in a better state, to be honest.
Yeah.
Probably had Rooney for the second time to play with. Apparently, he popped in to see Pep Guardiola when he was at Bayern Munich for a week before giving Pep a lot of unsolicited advice on how to fix their defensive issues.
Ideal.
Yeah, it's just
He
absolutely
sounds like
brilliant.
a dream, this
He's
guy.
in the gym and he's telling people how to lift. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Love that.
One of the
Big
things,
fan of that.
this could be a rare example of something being good for the Ramble and good for your team, because him being a maniac is still going to be funny even if they're successful because of it.
Yeah, and he's not just going into the gym telling people how to lift. In this case, he's going into like Mr. Universe and telling him how to lift,
Yeah.
which is fascinating.
Yeah.
I hope we see a lot of fun stuff from him. It's a Sunday afternoon kickoff, so it's going to be on the TV, so that's good as well. It's quite the departure from Gary O'Neill, who seems like a very kind of quite a good bloke, quite sensible, very British.
It's chalk and then difficult cheese.
There's- yeah,
like a
absolutely.
really aggressive, veiny job that's got hard rennet on the side.
Yeah, like licking the inside of a cave type cheese after a delicious slice of mild
Chalk.
cheddar.
Lovely chalk.
But my the way I am as a football fan means that if my team are doing shit, I quite like the idea of a madman coming in and giving all the players a kick up the arse. Not because I necessarily think it's that productive, but just because it will make me feel better.
Make you feel better.
in the
And I
short
think
term.
this is a case of that. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like Gary O'Neill, Southampton manager Russell Martin was also sacked this week. Still no word on who's going to be replacing him, but Ruski's back in the dugout. Love a bit of Simon Rusk.
Are you enjoying that they can't find someone to be the manager?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's how the club is.
it's how the club is.
We have to all here be really hopeful that we'll witness history in terms of the worst Premier League team ever.
Yeah.
Because they've got, Derby got 11 points, and we're almost halfway through the season, and if Southampton don't pick up another point, they're going to be on par to be worse, because they've got 5 points now.
Yeah.
So it's not even half of 11, because half of 11, Pete, is five and a half. So
Thank you very much.
you can't do half points in the Premier League. So
No.
don't let anyone tell you you can. 'cause you can't.
Famously. Well,
So that's what we've got. That's what we got to hope out
Bloody
for.
big six, isn't it?
So we need the next.
Absolute cabal.
Oh no, we need the next Southampton manager to be like properly bad.
yeah.
Like really,
Like down
really
the
bad.
Pompey Highway, bad.
That's unfortunate to use that terminology, Pete. But
Well, I mean-
hey, you got Frankie Lampard at the weekend. Oi, oi.
Yeah.
I know Pompey aren't having the best time in the Championship, but do you think a reunion is possible next season? We all want this for you.
Yeah, we
I
do,
think
yeah.
I think it's certainly more possible that I think it's more likely that Portsmouth get out of the problems they're in than Southampton do. For sure. I mean, Southampton are basically relegated. Portsmouth aren't relegated necessarily. They've got a game or two in hand against most of the teams in the league, and there's been you don't want to hear about this, but just very quickly. Pompey have done a great line in playing quite well but losing, and peppering it with the odd abysmal performance where they get battered, and that's not a
Sounds
great
familiar.
recipe. But there is time. There is still time.
There is indeed. Well, Jamie Vardy on the Leicester side of things has revealed his pre-match preparation to help him piss off opposition players. He learns different insults in their native language. This is what you like to see. It's like when you go on holiday to like wherever you're going to be, you learn a few languages, you learn a few words. Where's the toilet? Can I have a beer, please?
Yeah.
And
Normally
he's
the
doing his
other,
best.
still the other way around.
Yeah,
isn't it?
well, that's why I drink my beer. Are you a big fan of this, Luke?
Yeah, I like it. It's like his version of Eddie Redmayne and Day of the Jackal. Isn't it? Learns the
yes.
language, ingratiates himself into the local culture, and is able to perform his duties and then disappear off into the night.
Shit, get banged.
Yeah. Whereas Jamie Vardy is doing kind of the same thing, but in
Chat
a very
nerd, get banned.
much more high-profile
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I just think it's inspirational that he's still finding new ways to grow and to learn at
To
37.
sledge,
It's an
yeah.
inspirational to
It
young
would be-
players, really.
It would be an incredible plot twist if we found out post-retirement that because of this, Jamie Vardy is proficient in like 4 different languages.
Yeah, he's like a polyglot.
Yeah.
He's a Duolingo kind of.
From nowhere, he does a last year in like in Saudi Arabia or Qatar, and he can speak the local language perfectly.
Well, I mean, he's the Duolingo owl, but he's just shouting piss and shit instead.
And Red Bull.
Yeah.
Toro Rosso.
Also at Leicester.
He's Eddie Red Bull.
Also at Leicester, Hamza Chowdhury has pledged to play for Bangladesh, which is a big move. Vish wrote a book about him, didn't he? Or did he
With him?
With him, yeah. Cole wrote a little kind of manga book, I think. He was capped 7 times by England's under 21s, but Bangladeshi fans have been messaging him on social media for years, trying to get him to play for them. It's a big move. He's such a kind of important figure, I think, for certainly British Asians. And, you know, it's going to play some dads, isn't it? It's going to play some dads.
Yeah.
It's an amazing move. I mean, perhaps shamefully, I couldn't tell you a single other Bangladeshi player,
international player.
And if you look at their most recent squad, all the players in their squad are playing in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So like, it's not even they've not really got any players that come and play in Europe at all. So I mean, it's not just interesting for him, but it's also incredibly important for Bangladesh because the influence and the kind of, not education, but like experience they'll get from having like a Premier League player in their squad.
Well, he said, hasn't he, that he wants
Crazy.
to help them sort of climb up the world rankings and change the infrastructure and maybe bring some more European ideas to that setup. So it's potentially really positive.
Well, let's hope he knows the Bengali for fuck off.
To be fair, I should just say, by the way, they are also coached by a Spaniard though.
Oh, okay.
Who's quite a well-respected coach, got a pro license, all the rest of it. So it may well be that they are a good combination.
Good luck to Bangladesh. All right, time for this.
Dean Smith also says you're an encyclopedia of football.
There we go.
An encyclopedia of football.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, I don't know what I mean.
I'm a purist, Pete. I close the laptop.
Yeah,
Some
it's
people
good
don't.
stuff.
Some people don't.
Jim just I think he tries to confuse us by using it as a partition.
No, that's it. So it's so that you don't accidentally look over and see what I'm writing down.
Yeah, but have you got like I can see your kind of computer desktop on your Apple Macintosh. Have you renamed some of the folders to give Luke a bit of abuse?
I'm so fucking desperate to click that finances folder. Double click on that.
It's just a spider
See how much
dancing.
wedge he's got. It's all in red.
Last week,
It's a screen crying.
It's a nice colour. There's vinegar coming out of its ports. Last week, Andy Brassel put in one of the most embarrassing performances in Jackson's Encyclopaedia
He's up against the
history,
heavyweight.
Losing to the Luke Nation.
It's not easy under the pressure, is it? Playing
Exactly, yeah. And now Jim is back to defend the Intercontinental title against Luke.
I want this fucking belt
Yeah,
bad.
you want it. It's a simple game of categories. You know how it goes. Let's kick off with you, Lukey Moore. Let's have it. Every goal scorer in each of Southampton's 9-0 defeats. What a delicious situation.
So Leicester and Man United combined.
Exactly. Every goal scorer in each of Southampton's 9-0
How many are there?
defeats.
That's funny.
There are 13.
Okay. I'm going to go for Jamie Vardy. He definitely did.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes?
Bruno Fernandes. Yes.
What a mate. I've got a sneaky suspicion that
Tough round this.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think, scored for United.
He did. Well done, Lucky Mo. Well remembered.
I'm going to go for Marcus Rashford.
He
Well done,
popped
Jim.
up.
James Maddison.
He did.
Very good.
This is actually a really tough round.
It's a
We've
really
got five
difficult
already.
one,
That's
It's
good.
a little while ago now, isn't
Good
it?
opening salvo, I think.
Going for Anthony Martial.
Oh, nice.
He was
Very
in there.
good. Jim,
Well
that's
done.
excellent.
Good stuff.
The only one I've got,
Strong showing.
I don't know if this is going to be right. Christian Eriksen.
I don't think he would have been at United by then, would he?
Jim, you've got to
let's
get
have
one.
one, Jim, to get the round, to take the round.
Wilfred Ndidi.
Oh. We're back in. We're back in.
Come on.
Oh, my goodness me.
Doesn't make it any easier coming back in, though, does it?
It really doesn't.
Ricardo Pereira.
Not in there.
It's a difficult one.
It's a difficult one. Could be anyone.
Jesse Lingard.
All right, that's it. No
That's
points.
it. No
No
points.
points.
Could have had Ayoze Perez, Ben Chilwell, Dan James, Edinson Cavani, Jan Bednarek with an Oggy.
I should have got that.
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
love that.
Big old Jan. Scott McTominay and Yuri Tielemans as well. So there we go. All right.
Tielemans is gettable.
Strong
Yeah.
round, great performance. I'm enjoying the game. All right, second round to you, Jim. Every Premier League club's top Premier League goal scorer who currently plays for the club. Every Premier League club's top Premier League goal scorer who currently plays for the club.
Okay, so they're still at the club.
Still at the club. This
Okay.
only includes Premier League goals scored for the club they're currently at, but it can be across multiple spells with the club.
Chris Wood.
Oh, I like it. Not
Well
even
done, Jim.
Forest.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
He's in there. Everton.
I was really nervous about hearing that beat there.
Mateus Cunha.
Mateus Cunha. Wolves, correct?
Fucking hell, Jim. That's excellent. I never would have got that. This is a bit of a random one, but if I've understood the question properly, I think Liam Delap's got to be in there.
Clever.
He's in there. Good stuff.
Heung-min Son, surely.
Young-Min
Nice.
Son, correct.
I mean, I'll be stunned if this isn't correct. Mo Salah?
He's in there.
Surely Bukayo Saka as well.
Correct.
Jim, you're flying.
You are flying, my friend.
I'm trying to, maybe I'm being too clever here, but I can't think who else it would be. Antoine Semenyo for Bournemouth?
Yes. Well
Wow.
done. Well
Gonna stick my neck out and go for Erling Haaland.
Oh, that's good. Got to be.
done. He's
Gotta
in there.
be.
He's in there.
Well done, Jim. Now, this is a tricky one. This is between... Oh, fucking hell. Marcus Rashford?
Yes.
Fucking hell. Do you know what? I almost went for fucking
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes.
Mikel Antonio.
Fucking hell, Jim. Jim, this is like a walk in the park for you.
Rumours have believed he might be back home for Christmas, which is excellent.
That would be
news.
great news. That would be very good. So how many have we had? 2, 4, 6, 8. We've had 11 already.
Yeah.
My goodness me.
My goodness
Okay.
me.
I'm just trying to think of a
The
club.
teams, yeah.
Mm.
It's Torres to give Chelsea a place.
Oh, Jamie Vardy.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Fucking hell.
great.
Yeah. Okay. Ollie Watkins.
Oh,
Right.
God. Jim.
Forgot about the ears.
Jim's
didn't you?
too good.
Forgot
He's
about the
too
ears.
good.
Too good.
I thought I was going to win today, and I'm not.
Early days, yeah.
I don't know how many I don't even know what clubs we've got left.
It's Torres to give Chelsea a place in the Champions League final. The headline has been written.
Oh,
I'm out.
ghosted out. Ghosted
Jim,
out.
point to Jim.
Well done, Jim. You got that point. You could have had Adam Lallana at Southampton.
I thought of Southampton, but I couldn't think of
same.
anyone. Of course, it would be
Who's
him.
Newcastle United's?
Is it Wilson or Isak?
Callum Wilson. Correct. yeah. Cole Palmer, Danny Welbeck, Jean-Philippe Mateta. Bullying
couldn't think
in
of the
midweek.
clubs. I just couldn't think of the
yeah,
clubs.
Raul Jimenez at Fulham and Wissa at Brentford.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So there's one left. I could get a tiebreaker, I guess.
Yeah.
Could get a tiebreaker, yeah, exactly. All right. Third round, Lukey. Every club and country managed by Marcelo Bielsa, excluding youth and Olympic teams. Every club and country managed by Marcelo Bielsa. Please.
Okay. Leeds United.
Leeds are in.
Leeds are in there.
Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Athletic Bilbao.
Chile. Struggling with this.
Good. He managed America, Club America.
He did.
God. Rosario Central.
Great to hear them get a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a point.
Oh, lucky. Well
I
done,
had
lucky
Argentina
Mo.
as well. He managed Argentina,
He did manage Argentina.
And
yeah,
Lazio.
And Lazio,
Yeah.
and Espanyol, and Lille, and Atlas.
In the game, Jim.
And Marseille, and Newell's, and Villa Sarsfield as well.
I knew all of those.
One of them he
but I
managed
just
for
didn't say any.
one of them he managed for a day.
Yes, he did.
Actual
Yeah,
day,
he went,
yeah.
fuck this. All right.
What does it take for Bielsa to think a club is a bit much in a
All
day?
right. It's chance for the tiebreaker?
Yeah, love it.
Lovely. All right. I'm going to kick things off with you, Jim, if that's all right with you. Every European club set to compete in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup.
Fucking luck.
Every European club set to compete in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup.
Man City?
They're in there.
I mean, I'm going to take a punt and say Real Madrid.
Barcelona?
Got to be, surely.
Oh,
I'll get one for the
boy,
boys.
Loki, just give us
I've
one.
got no idea. I mean, I'm just going to... Chelsea.
They've got the squad and you've got the win.
sake.
Well done, Loki Moore.
Intercontinental champ.
Barcelona, you idiot.
Lift that belt. They can't afford the travel.
They can't. Salzburger, innit?
Could have had, yeah.
Barcelona's not in it.
Red Bull Salzburg,
I had them on my list.
PSG, Porto, Juve, Inter Milan, Borussia Dortmund, Benfica, Bayern Munich, and L'Atletico.
I had Juve
Madrid.
on my list as well.
Yeah.
I
All
was
right.
literally just guessing big clubs. That was
It was a great performance, and to be honest, I would have run to the hills for that first round. Awful.